firstly, let's actually break down like why you decided to get American credit because you're Canadian, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So what led you to like want American credit? Why not just get Canadian credit?
Yeah, so I think what led me to wanting American credit is obviously we all know how strong US is in the world when it comes to having access to like a lots of credit and what that can do for you as like on a personal side and also for the business side, just being able to get more leverage for the business. And as someone who lives in Canada, who runs a business out of Canada, I always wanted to get some kind of credit or extra capital to kind of like help when it comes to running a business on like day-to-day expenses, operating expenses, things like that. And obviously with the US being the best in, I had planned to move to the United States just to be able to get access to credit. But
Mm.
the only problem is in order to actually move to the States, there's a whole bunch of other checklists and a whole bunch of other things that need to get knocked off the list before I can actually do that. And getting access to US credit was always something that I was kind of like, okay, you know what, like this isn't for me. Like I probably can't get this done. And so that's why kind of like that's where the desire came from for me to be able to get access to US credit.
Yeah. And then you booked a call with us, and then pretty much we kind of spoke about the details and pretty much how you can like start now. Like most Canadians or like people internationally, like they don't realize, but they can start the process now. There's like a whole framework.
Yeah.
Um, so how many, let's say, how much time did it take for us to get you approved for your first card?
So from start to finish, from the first time we had our discovery call, I'd probably say it took less than a week and a half to get approved for the first card. And then I actually got the card a week later after I got approved. So 2 weeks and a half before I got like my physical new US credit card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great, cool. And we're in the process of building up that credit. So eventually, in a few months' time, you'll have that Chase Sapphire and the best credit cards to like actually travel and whatnot. So I'm excited for that. Now we're actually gonna talk about corp structures and review that. So, what led you to want to get a US LLC, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so I think with the US LLC, I think what led me to it is when we first had our discovery call, you guys did a really great job of like the up credit team, of course, you guys did a really great job of educating me on what the different options are that are available to myself and myself as a business owner, and then what the different advantages are of each, whether it comes for taxes, whether it comes for, I guess, just like general getting access to credit. And it just seemed like the next logical step in the equation. That's what kind of made me want to get a US LLC.
Cool. And for the people that don't know what you do, just tell them like what kind of business you're running right now.
Yeah, so right now I'm running a fitness consulting business. So it's like a fitness coaching business. What I do is I work with people who are struggling to get in shape. I typically work with people who work corporate jobs, six-figure men who are having trouble simplifying their fitness and getting them into the best shape of their lives. That's what I do.
Awesome. Great. Why did you want to get the credit cards? Is it mostly for the funding, like the access to capital, or is it more like points and whatnot?
So we had the funding, access to capital and everything, which is obviously important for, operating and the expenses on a day-to-day basis. I'd rather use leverage credit or borrowed credit on like 0% interest than my own cash in order to, fund the expenses. That's the first part. But the second part is if I'm spending the money anyways,
Yeah.
I'd rather get points for it. So
Yeah,
I can
exactly.
get the points for it, and then I can use those points, maybe afford a travel trip just
Yeah.
based on solely points, or to give me access to other things. I mean, that's 100% worth it in my books.
Yeah, this is one thing a lot of people internationally they don't know, but even though they might have a credit card outside of the US that might be gaining them points, the value of those points that they receive is nothing in comparison to
Yeah,
US based points. And on top of that, being an Credit Platinum, now you know how to like leverage those
exactly.
points and get more than 1 cent per point, 2 cents per point, 3 cents per point. So you're kind of
Exactly.
on track to getting all those welcome bonuses, which pretty much unlocks about like $10,000 worth of free travel.
Yeah,
So I'm looking forward to that.
for sure.
All right, dude. Cool. Do you have anything else to like add in, like to anyone that's like on the edge of considering moving ahead with us or something?
Yeah, so I mean, I think at first it's like pretty normal to be skeptical because you're just like, oh, like credit, like you guys are gonna help me with my credit. Like I don't want them to hurt my credit report or anything like that. And that was kind of like, that was definitely my some of my initial thoughts and concerns when it came to having people help me with my credit, because I was always someone who had good credit, and I live in Canada. I had good credit in Canada, having an 800 plus score. But unfortunately, that doesn't necessarily translate over to United States. And so from United States, they treat me like I have a zero credit score. Like, I have to start from the bottom. I have to start from zero, which obviously sucks. And then having people who are saying that they're going to help me, also put me on edge. But I think the first thing that made it really easy to kind of get started was they offered like an intro call or discovery call. And on that call, we actually went in depth with my situation and some of the things that I was facing and some of the challenges I had when it came to accessing the credit. And with the amount of information and value they provided on that call, I knew instantly that, like, okay, I think I can actually trust these guys. And they made the path so clear and so logical that taking the right step with them only felt natural. And I think that's what I would share with anyone who's like on the fence. Like, do the discovery call first, and then it's completely free. And do the discovery call, and once you have a good understanding of like where your current situation is, you'll probably be able to make the next best decision, which would be probably using expert help to kind of get you fast tracked to getting that credit. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, this is what we say to most clients. It's like if you're spending at least 5,000 a month and you take like businesses and expenses combined, like lifestyle and business expenses combined,
Yeah.
5,000 is like the beginning mark where like if you don't have US credit, then you're pretty much losing money. So if you're spending 100,000 a month, $10,000 a month, 50 a month, then like you literally be losing money by not having the right credit card. And a lot of people, what I've noticed is they use debit cards on
Yeah.
their expenses. I'm like, dude, you're missing out on so much, like the scalability and the points, free travel. So yeah, cool. I appreciate the call.
Yeah, of course. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.